Okay, hi. Welcome back to another episode of Caitlin Talking About Things. Woo, did you guys miss me? Even though this is the first episode. Anyway, we're just going to ignore that I even said that. Um, so I just got home from school. I'm currently in year 11, believe it or not. It feels like I'm supposed to be in year 8 because I act like a child, but we're just going to ignore that. Um, yeah, we're already in term 3. The year's gone that fast. I've just started unit 2 of my favourite subject, media. No, I'm not just saying that to get brownie points from my teacher, but it would be nice. Jade, if you're listening to this, you will be. Um, yeah, it's actually been really good this year. I did media last year in year 10, which was fun, but we hardly did much. The only things I really did was I made a horror movie and a magazine, and that was like all. Um, but yeah, this year's been really good. That we've done like a lot of theory, but we've pretty much done a lot more practical. If I'm being honest, like I'm very happy, like very grateful that we've done a lot more practical. This term in particular, this semester coming up, is going to be chock block with stuff. I can already tell by looking at the outcomes. Um, and in particular, so far, we've really been looking at more movies. And Jade showed us, like my teacher Jade showed us a movie in class by Wes Anderson, a director. Don't know if you've heard of him. He made Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's the main movie I could think of. We actually watched Kingdom, I think it was called. And when I was watching it, just the color scheme he uses and like the camera work, and just like the whole vibe of it, it really made me think like, oh, I feel like I've seen this before, or like I feel like there's another movie I've seen like this. And then I looked it up, and it's because it's by Wes Anderson as well, like the ones that I was thinking of. Um, yeah, and then it really made me think because I love watching movies. I'm sure you guys love watching movies. It's good. It's good time, good entertainment. I feel like we never really appreciate the directors as much as we do the actors and actresses, but when it comes down to it, the movie wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for the director. And when I looked more into it, a lot of the movies that I love watching even now, but even more as a kid, they're lots of them are by the same director, which I didn't actually notice until now. And that director is Tim Burton. Yeah, when I think about it, my favorite movies growing up were like, Edward Scissorhands, because I remember watching that for the first time as a kid, and I was just thinking, what the hell is this? Like, this is weird. And like Sweeney Todd, that's a good movie. Alice in Wonderland, the real life one, obviously. Corpse Bride, that is a favorite of mine, and my sister loves it. Shout out to Holly. The Nightmare Before Christmas, watch that every year. And even like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that movie was really good. I liked it. And I never actually realized that that would be a Tim Burton type of film, but the more you know. But when you actually look into it, you think, oh yeah, come on, that was by Timmy. Like, obviously, come on, guys. And the reason for that is, well, first of all, most of his movies, so like in Edward Scissorhands and stuff, the main character always, like without doubt, is like an outcast. He's different to the rest, misunderstood. He's kind of the person that like grows on you the more that you watch the movie. Like at start, you're kind of like, oh, this guy's weird, but then by the end, you're like, oh, I love that guy. So and that they're an outcast by Tim's choice of costume. So, which is like a really big thing for characters. I feel like that's a big, make or break. Edward's wearing like a black straitjacket. He's got really crazy black hair. Not your average Joe. Wouldn't say that I've seen anyone like that at my school, but not judging. And even in Sweeney Todd, he's wearing like a weird outfit, and he's got like crazy black hair with like a white strip in it. Both of which are the same actor, Johnny Depp. But I'll get more into that in a little bit later. Corpse Bride and Night Before Christmas, they are his animated films, obviously, as you can see. But even those characters are wearing weird costumes, and you'll notice that with a lot of his characters, he likes to make them look like, the main word I think of is like ill. They look sick. They've always got like massive like bags under their eyes, protruding like cheekbones. That's the word I was going for. Look like they haven't slept in about 5 years, kind of thing. I think that's the style he really likes, which is fair enough, because you'll notice as well with all of his movies, he's really into the creepy fantasy, it's a real escape from reality, not anything that you'd really see in everyday life, which I love. That's why I loved it as a kid, because I'd always watch it, and watching it, you always just get thrown into this world, and like, what is going on? What is this? Where even is this set? That's why I like it so much. Another thing that as I mentioned before with Tim Burton's films, that he made the movie when Johnny Depp is in it. He's in a few, actually. Edward Scissorhands, Sweeney Todd. He plays Willy Wonka. He's also the voice of his characters in his animated films, I've noticed, as I looked up the cast. He voices the main character in one of them. He's also in Alice in Wonderland. He's the Mad Hatter. Perfect person for the Mad Hatter, I think. And a lot of people complain that he uses Johnny Depp so frequently, and that he really needs to expand who he uses. But honestly, the way I look at it is, I couldn't imagine anyone else playing as his characters. I just think Johnny Depp just suits the role of all of his chosen people so well. And, it's another reason why I love the TV show American Horror Story. They use the same actors and actresses every season, but they always play a different character. And I love that. Like, I love seeing their ability to go from one person to a completely different person, going from someone who's completely psychotic to someone who's sweet and, you can trust, something like that. You know what I mean? But I really like that he uses Johnny Depp. And also, another woman in it, I've gotten really confused because I tried researching her name. And Tim Burton's wife is Elena Jasicki, I think. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. It probably isn't. But he also uses Helena Bonham Carter a lot in his movies, and she was in Sweeney Todd as well. And she played as the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland. And, I love that he uses her a lot. But I'm just so confused. If you guys look it up, they look the same. Like, are they the same person? I don't know. I think that's just going to be something that I won't know for a while, because I'm trying to research it, but it's just not making sense to me. But yeah, I just like it. It's like coming back, oh yeah, hey again. What role are you going to be playing this time, kind of thing. But yeah, also, you'll notice in a lot of his movies, he likes to use flashbacks. So as I said before, his main characters, they're always outcasts, they're always weird. You always think, oh, like, why are they like how they are today? What was their childhood like? That's often what you think. And he likes to give a little flashback to, tell the viewers this is why. The main one I actually think about a lot is the one in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You meet Willy Wonka in the movie, and you're just so like fascinated in this man. Like, you're like, who is this guy? He's so weird. He's so strange. And that's why many people love him. But then you get a flashback of his childhood, and I think like it flashback to him as a kid, and it's Halloween. And Halloween, kids go trick-or-treating in America. It's a very common thing. But at the time he has like braces, like this big head brace, and his father is so cruel, and he actually like takes his lolly bag and just throws them in the fire and tells them, these aren't good for you. They're no good. Sweets are no good for you. Yeah, and it's really upsetting, and I'm sure that would be traumatizing for a kid. Little me, I was a bit of a chub. Many of my friends would tell you, yes, this is true. But I would be upset if my mum threw out my chocolates, because, come on, chocolate. But yeah, I just like that it's a common thing in his movies to like give the viewers an insight of why they're like that, He did it in Sweeney Todd as well, and in Corpse Bride. I'm pretty sure he does it in most of his movies. Another reason that you'd know that it's his movie is because all of them have like a dark tint to them, like the color scheme of it all. I don't think you'd ever see, any yellows or anything like that in his movies. Like, no happy colors. It's all gloomy. It's all dark. It's all, really like, and watching his movies, you always think, yeah, it could just be because he's into that kind of genre. But then you really think about it, and other directors like Quentin Tarantino, another thing that my teacher pointed out was his foot fetish, because I've noticed in his movies he likes to zoom up in feet a lot. And he loves violence, obviously, as you can tell, with all his fight scenes in it and torture scenes. Perhaps movies, like directors like to put in their movies a reflection of themselves, like a little bit of an insight on who they are as a person. Like Tim, I imagined him after watching his movies being like really, like being an outcast himself. I picture him being that weird kid in school that not many people would have talked to. I picture him like drawing at his desk, weird stuff, but he's really talented kind of thing, and only his teacher knows, and his teacher tells him he's cool, but no one else thinks he's cool. That's what I picture. And then I watched some interviews with him, and then, he was a bit like that kid, with stuff that he said. There was one thing in particular that he said, and it just made me feel a bit weird, because he was talking about how he grew up, and, his mum and dad were together. They weren't divorced, I don't think. But his house, they lived right near a cemetery, and he had a window in his room, but his parents boarded it up apparently. Anyway, this is what he said. He said, growing up, I had these 2 windows in my room, nice windows that looked out onto the lawn. And for some reason, my parents walled them up and gave me this little slit window that I had to climb up on a desk to see out of. I never did ask them why, but my parents are dead now, so I guess the question will remain unanswered as to why they sealed me in a room. I guess they just didn't want me to escape. I don't know. Something about that he said just makes me feel so weird. And like, I'm sure his parents didn't neglect him as a child. I don't know. You can only imagine. I guess, as he said, they aren't alive anymore, so he'll never know. But it's just really interesting to really look into the mind of the people that create these movies. And I watch Tim Burton's films, and I just think, wow, I'd really like to meet this guy. Get to know him. I feel like he'd be really interesting. Like, I like the way his mind works, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm really excited because for our next task that we're doing, actually, we have to like take a creation of someone and then turn it into a different media format. So I'm hoping to take Tim Burton's films and turn it into, photographs and everything, like telling a story throughout photos, because I don't know, something about his work, I don't want to choose anyone else. I just really like what he has done, I don't know, it's just so intriguing to me, just the creepiness of it. It's so good. I just can't even explain it. But yeah, that's all we have time for this episode. I hope you guys didn't get too bored with me mumbling on, rambling on. That's the word I was trying to go for. I hope that you guys like Tim Burton as well. And if you don't, that's okay. Everyone has different taste. But I hope that me talking about his work, and him himself, gave you guys a better insight, maybe like opened your mind to wanting to watch his movies, because I know that I love them. But yeah, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening, and tune in for another episode later on.